Hey man, we're gonna bring in our second guest, but first, he's a hip hop artist and a producer. He got some crazy beats on YouTube, man, and he's also the music director for TTNL,
Ah,
the Tape Never Lies
you
Network.
never lies. Some of our people.
Got to plug that. Got to plug the Tape Never Lies. But yeah, he's a hip hop artist and producer, and he has some crazy beats. Let's bring him in. CK, Cool Kennedy.
Hey, what's up? What's going on? Can you hear me? Is
What's
Yeah,
everything
up
we can
with
live?
hear you, brother.
yes,
What's
sir.
going on, bro?
Live and direct. Got to get the mic right. But
Yes, sir. That's what you do. Yes,
Anybody
sir.
ever told you look like Suge Knight?
I heard
Oh
that.
no.
I heard that. matter of fact, when they had those little roll calls, when they were doing the movie, they did some shooting out in Chicago. A few
uh,
people had told me about that. They were like, "Hey, you should go out." I was like, "Man, I'm not tall enough. How tall was he? Like 6'2"? I'm only like 5'7", 5'8", clearing
man,
5'8".
they could have put you on
But
some
you know the
silk.
camera angles be on the
On some
slant,
silk
man.
or
You know that
something,
ain't
man.
gonna work.
Hey, you're
You
right.
look,
You're right. You're right.
you look just like him, man. All you need is
Hey.
a cigar.
Hey, see, I'll be doing the cigars on Instagram. I'll be part of those cigar groups. So I could have did it. Yeah, you're right.
There you go. And just tell somebody, I ain't hang vanilla ice over the balcony.
Oh man,
Right.
yeah.
I
That's
didn't
funny,
kill. I didn't kill Biggie. I didn't.
That's
man.
it. There you go again. There you see. We was all fun and game until you brought up some other,
That's deep. That's too deep right now. You know what I mean?
Right, we
Yeah,
was just talking about,
that's
hey,
a
if you
little
don't
deep,
want
but
producers
this
dancing in the
podcast is a
video,
little deep.
come on over to Death Row.
All right. No, but it's funny you brought that up because that was something that I actually thought about when they were doing that roll call, and I was
Oh,
like,
for real?
yeah, I really thought about it. I was like, you know what, it's possible. But then I was something in me, like the dude who got it, he did all right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like whatever
He was
happened
he was
happened.
he was definitely believable. He was
Yeah, he
definitely
was.
believable.
He was. And that's not even really my character. Like, I'm not that much of an actor where I could be like, it's just not my character. I'm real cool, relaxed, hence the name. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to see. Like, I know my zone and mainly is music, man. Like you guys aforementioned. So yeah,
Absolutely.
if I would have been had a chance to be on the mixtape or the soundtrack, that would have been dope too.
Hey, as long
So,
as you're a part of it.
what what artists have you produced beats for? Notable artists that you produced beats.
The funny thing about that is like YouTube opens up the world, especially when it comes to you or YouTube producers.
Mhm.
I feel like when I first started making beats, like when I was in high school, and that was before YouTube was really like a thing. You know what I mean? That was in like 2007. I really started working on FL Studio, making beats, and my inspiration to make beats was Ninth Wonder. He used FL Studio as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like grasping the software and like, what, you could do this. And as time developed, I started seeing how like on YouTube there were producers that just made beats and just posted them, and I was like, that's crazy because I went to school for music and audio production at the Art Institute in Schaumburg, and
Okay.
they're closed now. But man, like one of the things my teacher had said, he was saying, I asked him about making music and the kind of the business, and he was like, I told him about the YouTube scene. He was like, but you post music and you're not getting any credits, or you're just doing it for free. I mean, once it's out there, right? Like, how do you really get credit for it? And that kind of changed the game because usually you had to showcase artists your music in a studio session, or you would develop songs with artists privately. And YouTube kind of opened up the world where it's like you post the beat and there might be 1,000 people that see the beat or hear it. Some of them might download it, copy it, but how many people are going to do something with it or reach out to you? That's even fewer. So like that
Right.
that kind of like changed the game as I started seeing it develop since like 2012, 13 up until now, where you have some of the top YouTube producers that have just stuck with YouTube and they've ended up collabing with people. But mainly I just stick local. Like a lot of my stuff has been local or people that were in other cities. So I've been working with everybody from France. I work with a guy from Amsterdam, Chicago artist, Elgin artist, where I'm from, like 45 minutes north of Chicago. So really, I try to like minimize like the people that I don't know. But I mean, I don't know everybody, so I don't want it to stop me from moving and shaking. So man, I work with a lot of people in the past like 10 years, you know what I mean, where I can't say that I know everybody, but I definitely had the collabs and got the credits as far as on people's mixtapes and stuff like that.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, yeah.
So did YouTube become like your virtual resume, so to speak?
And exactly, you know what I mean? And it came like it became that for a lot of artists and a lot of producers. And that was the platform that really jumped off till you had things like BeatStars. You know,
D-Star, yeah.
you had other platforms that say, hey, you know what, there needs to be more of a niche website for these producers. But you know, BeatStars now they take cuts and everything because you know, obviously money make the world go round. But you know, those industries is interesting to see, like the internet beat production. You know, now in 2020, me and T Nick were talking about rap and you know in the past and what it's come to today. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's the first thing that changed with music is the production aspect of it. And you remember like in the 80s and the 90s where the producers were kind of the forefront. You know what I mean? Where the DJs were kind of the forefront. And you know, as the artist became the center stage, you know, the role and the appearance of importance of the producer became less and less.
Right.
The appearance, you know, and you know, in the industry, we all know that the producer without the beat, man, especially today, where you at, you know? So,
But that's funny you mentioned that because like I'm an old school hip hop. So when you say Eric B and Rakim, we knew what he did. Jam Master Jay, you know what I'm saying? Like we knew what those cats did. Hell, even as recent as Timbaland, we knew how important the beat person was. If you went back down to the South music, we knew what Beats by the Pound did, you know, for all that good Southern flow from Master P and what was my man's name? Juvie and them.
Juvie, yeah.
Yeah. So like, just delve into a little bit about like how has that changed now? Because now your production is becoming more forefront, and your beats is almost like the sidebar, right?
Yeah, I'm basically it's a showcase to like what you can do. So I kind of even from that aspect, I kind of went into detail about how the YouTube beat maker world changed the industry essentially. But now I kind of fell back from that because I wanted to work and focus more on my home studio, and I do a lot of audio production for people and working with artists and developing specific songs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like a lot of the projects have been local and even as far as Chicago and as far as Indiana, working with artists. And I kind of like that lane a little bit, you know. I kind of took the back. I want to be the guy behind the scenes a little bit more. I feel like, you know, there's money to be made in that area, you know, and there's a lot of artists that aren't getting developed that also need that development aspect. So um development, you know, we haven't been really putting too much focus on that in the industry. But I feel like with a little TLC, you know, no pun
Mhm.
intended to that group, but you know, with a little bit of TLC, a lot of artists can develop their craft and go a little bit further. You know, so much of the industry has been like, you know, you a rock star for 1 second and then you where you at in 2 years, you know what I mean? So longevity, the commercialism is a part of the beat game now. So like making beats for commercials and things like that. There's a lot of platforms that provide that information online where you know you can get a placement for Coca-Cola, you can get a placement for Adidas. You know what I mean? Where those a lot of those opportunities weren't open
Right.
for a lot of younger producers and producers that really didn't have a name established in the industry. And there's a lot of producers that aren't big on their charts that are making money in that industry. And there's money to be made in those little 5 second beats you hear on that commercial. You know what I mean? Like it's just a beat. It's not really attached to any artist, but somebody's making money off that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So
Doritos commercials,
oh
7 Up
yeah,
commercials, right, right.
yeah.
Is there a lot of beat stealing?
There are, and you know, it's the YouTube wars. So like, you got to flag it. You know what I mean? Like, there's been people that have like taken my beats, and that's the thing that my teacher was talking about. Once it's up there, it's up there.
Right.
You just have to have the team to be able to see it, and you have to have it registered in order for
How do you even police that?
it's really the algorithm on YouTube. So you have to have release it or digitally distribute your beats. So like they're not just posted straight onto YouTube. They go through digital distribution. You release them and you get the number for them. You know what I mean? Like you make it official on the release under your name.
So then once YouTube has that, then they basically know what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it's like in their
knowing
system,
how much
whatever
it's
you
been
record.
produced.
Yeah, the algorithm will warn you about it. So like, say if somebody creates a page, I've known that producers have created pages, fake producers create a page and pick and choose beats and then try to say it's theirs and resell it. So there's like that shows you, man, it's deep. It's grimy
It's
out
super
there.
deep, right?
It's grimy, like, there's the industry, how it was set up, and there's the sharks out here, you know what I'm saying? Like that song, Rock Superstar. It's a lot of sharks out here, that there's the center circle that's actually producing and making the music, who love the art form, who can do it. And then there are the people who are right outside there that are like kind of like the hangers on that are
Right.
there present with those artists and maybe even protecting them as security or whatever. There's all those people that make that industry work. And then there's those people who are next to those people that say, well, look, I got 5 pictures with Waka. I got 5 pictures with Gucci. You know what I mean? Like they're putting it on their profile and they're getting a lot of people. I can get you a placement. You know what I mean? I got to say that happened to me once where it's like, just send 200 and I got you on this placement. When I was young, first started, they get a lot of producers like that. So up and coming producers, beware about those the game is real. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of sharks out there, like they say.
Dang, that's deep. You feel like you show your passion, your heart and soul into this craft, and with one click of a button, somebody can take your whole energy, your whole
Yeah, if it's not digitally distributed, so I would push. That's what I try to tell artists. Get your ASCAP, your BMI ready, then that's your account established, and then you can digitally release it on major platforms. And that way, when it's released, people hear it, it's attached to your name, and those algorithms pick it up. So it can be protected.
So your work on TTNL is bananas. How did you get into that? I know you're an avid Bears fan. So.
Oh yeah, see, and that's the thing, man. Like where worlds collide, like it's a funny thing. I've known Phil for over a year now. But the first time I reached out to Shane. If you don't know, Tape Never Lies, they break down the Bears tape. They focus on all the current events of the team. I'm a Bears fan myself. I'm not from Chicago. I'm from Elgin, but I've been a Bears fan for a long time. And when I first I'm telling you, just looking up Bears stuff, like highlights and stuff like that, stumbled on his page. And I'm like, he was cutting down the film and like, look, this is what's going on. He's showing behind the coach angle, not the angle you see on broadcast. That's from the side.
Right.
He had the tape. He had the tape where you could see behind the line and you could see people messing up. I'm like, I knew there was something else going on with this team because I love football. I play football. I'm a lineman, so I have a different perspective of the game. I was D-line, O-line too. I played running back when I was younger, but like I have that aspect of the game where the average fan isn't watching for those parts. They're watching for the quarterback and the wide receiver and
the highlights.
Yeah, the highlights. And I like the game to that level where I'm like, yes, finally somebody's picking this apart. Where those average blog boys, that's why we made that song Blog Boys. The blog boys are just going after the highlights and they're basing their decisions on why things are going wrong. And their premises is off base. So like, man, I was going through all his tape and his film, and I'm like, you know what? He did his little jingle for Bears Hour Live, and I was like, that's so dope. And I was playing it back. I was cleaning the house or something, and my daughter, she was 2 at the time. She was singing it back, and I was like, oh, that's catchy. You know what I mean? With my 2-year-old daughter singing it, so I was like, you know what? Let me do a little remix. And I was like, you know what? I should send it to him. Just whatever. Just let him check it out. And he contacted me back. Shane contacted me back. And then Phil got on it. He was like, man, where you been all my life? Pause. You know what I'm saying? So, and we just been at it, man, doing a lot of stuff. We're going to be coming out with a little mixtape. I remixed some of his tracks that he had done before. He was just recording on a little phone. And I'm like, yeah, that's dope for the phone, but we got to got to mix it a little bit and hook it up, you know, and we've been doing new songs. So we're ready for the world on that one. We're going to do it the right way. I've been trying to get him on this BMI, get everything official, you know what I mean? And line it up just like I mentioned before.
Okay. All right. But that's all good, man. Let's talk about these Bears for a quick second, though.
Yeah.
So, is Justin Fields is he gonna be able to compete for the job, or they just insist on sitting him down?
You know, he's already competing. You know, they got that on tape too. They know what he can do. They know what he's capable of. And right now I'm afraid it's politics. You know, they signed this guy. He's a vet. He's he's earned his stripes, his NFL stripes with the Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like he's a capable quarterback.
Mhm.
You know, he can get you downfield. You throw some slants. He can move the chains. You
I
know,
do too. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he's a little more than serviceable. JB was always hating on Dalton, though. Dalton is not a bad quarterback.
No, see, when you say hating,
You don't always no. I can pull up the tape when you
can definitely pull up the tape because what I'm gonna tell you is
hold on. Let me bring in JI because I know JI remember when you said he was trash.
I'm glad you brought that man up because I'm going to take his words. I'm glad you said that because Andy Dalton is slightly more than serviceable, but he's not the sexy pick. JI, don't we always say that? He's not the sexy pick. It's like
what's up, fellas?
Eating my restaurant. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. He's not terrible. Cool Kennedy, what's up, man? Holla, what's good? What's good?
What's going on, bro? How you been?
I'm chilling. I love, man. Thanks, guys, for holding it down, man. I love the Justin Fields pick. I agree with you, Cool. I definitely think that he's competing now. They know what he can do. I don't know if you throw him to the Wolves right away. By fourth game, I think he's playing regardless, win or lose. We win 4 games, great.
The Lions game, that's a good barometer for him right there.
Yeah, if we're 4-0, great. If we're not, he's going in regardless because at this day and age, you know, it's no more Aaron Rodgers sitting behind a guy. But then again, Aaron Rodgers was sitting behind Brett Favre. Andy Dalton is no Brett Favre. So they brought this guy in. They didn't bring him in not to play him. Now you have an actual, you know, you can, man, I'm gonna bring this guy in 3-4 games in. I'm okay with that. I absolutely love it. What's up, Bullets? Shout out. I can't see them not playing them ASAP. I'm more excited right now about some of the preseason game. Mm-hmm. Because he's gonna play. I think the Bears play Buffalo.
They do. So
they do.
I'm glad you brought that up. So CK, I'm gonna bring you in first. We all saw the Kansas City Chiefs a few years back with a 12-4 record with a Pro Bowl caliber Alex Smith, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to say that Andy Dalton can turn into Alex Smith, but we don't know if we have a Patrick Mahomes-esque player in Justin Fields, and we won't know until that time, right? So why throw him to the Wolves a little bit more prematurely than you have to? Because we got two sides here. We got the fan side, and then we got the business side. And in between those, two people's jobs are on the line. That would be the head coach and the GM. So you're going to get pressure one of two ways, from the fans or from management. So to me, that's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? So let's say Andy Dalton, let's say we get to the Detroit game and let's say we're 2-2. Or no, I'm sorry, we're 2-1. Do we pull that trigger prematurely? Do we wait it out and see, you know, how his progression is? Do we wait for Andy Dalton to get hurt? Because that's not so dissimilar to what the Miami Dolphins did with
Why you just use air quotes? Why you use air quotes?
Because I don't ever want to say somebody's getting hurt. That's disrespectful.
Right. And they're not really hurt. It's time for this guy to come in. So this guy might have to sprain his ankle getting out the shower.
And CK, you just mad at him. We knew Ryan Fitzmagic was not hurt. He was fine.
Yeah.
But it was time for game 7, week 7. It was time for Tua.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. That's all.
That's a hard thing because say we're 4-0, and then dang, what reason do you come up with to take them out? And it's like, I think, the reason they got him was they didn't know who their quarterback was. They didn't know Justin Fields was going to be available. So to me, it was still a smart decision. Like, he's there, you pick him up. He's a vet. He's made the playoffs. He's a playoff caliber QB. He's never had a defense like Chicago defense. And there are some question marks in this defense coming to this new season. They got a new coordinator, and what's going to happen? There's a missing cornerback where you don't know who's going to fill those big shoes that he left behind. That I'm still sad about that one. But
Marcus Trufant.
And
man, come on, dude.
He's a vet. I'm not going to talk down on
him.
I'm not going to talk down on that, man. He's got his stripes in the NFL, so
absolutely.
But man,
he's a true vet.
We're gonna miss Kyle Fuller, man. He's gonna tear it up for
but he can't fill them shoes, man. He can't fill them shoes.
But like, to answer your question, if they're 4-0, I feel like I ride with Dalton. If they're like 3-1, 4-0, I ride with him because there is no pressure on him.
Thank you.
He's a future.
That alleviates the pressure of anything.
You save him for a year. You want people to be learning. He's smart enough to he's the quarterback that can sit out a year and be even better the next year. You know what I mean? He would have been great. I think he'll be great this year if they start him. But why do that? You know what I mean? We've been down that road with the whack QB and Mr. Longneck, or what's his name?
Mike Glennon.
They took
Napoleon Dynamite.
6'8".
Man, they call him statue. You know what I mean? He just stand in the pocket like a statue. But like, they took him out, rightfully so. But then you got this guy who's more talented than him come in, and he's just not ready. His tools ain't sharpened yet. So like, we seen what that did. If there's going to be a future quarterback and you have a veteran, you have to, like you said, alleviate. That's the right word for it.
Thank you.
So Fields can't even compete for the job. Nagy said, "Well, he's not gonna compete. We're stuck on our decision. Dalton is gonna be the starter, at least going into LA. Dalton is gonna be the starter." I'm glad he said that. Mm-hmm. At least going into LA.
And that's the first game. Think about me and you talked about that, T. Nick.
Yeah.
That D-line. Oh, man. You want to put a rookie QB in front of them?
Why would you? That's like sacrificial lamb. Like, why?
I said at least not LA. That's what Nagy said. And I agree with that part.
Yeah.
I do agree with that part. Yeah. Aaron Donald is a confidence killer.
Yeah.
If Aaron Donald got a hold of Justin Fields, it would be pretty.
He gonna get a hold of Andy Dalton, and you about to say?
Yeah, he is, but Andy Dalton is back.
It's Aaron Donald. What are we talking about?
Hey,
a lot of people have gotten a hold of Andy Dalton.
That's why you want him to go out there first, and that might be the reason, like you said.
Right. Hey.
Yeah, so now I get the air quote. I get it now.
Yeah. Last year, though, I think the Bears were like 3-1 when they pulled the plug on Nick Foles.
Yep.
I mean,
they put the plug on Mitch for Nick Foles.
They shouldn't have did that one. They shouldn't have.
No.
They shouldn't have did that.
I thought it was the other way.
No, Mitch was starting and they pulled the plug. Mitch was on like the shortest leash ever.
Okay.
Like, he threw like one pick and was like, "Nope, get out."
Yep.
But he was not a Nagy guy. Nagy never wanted him. Remember, Mitch was drafted under the John Fox regime, of who John Fox didn't even want Mitch Trubisky.
Which is
so. Wait a minute. Let me get this right.
Go ahead and talk about it, CK, because that was a problem from jump, right?
Yeah, that was the problem. It was always off. Like, one coach comes in, then another quarterback comes in. It's staggered. It's not cleaning the slate. New coach, new Q. They've never been in that situation. Now it's technically still that situation where you have the same old coach from a few years.
Absolutely.
But technically, we're going to start new. And I think this situation with a veteran Q, he goes in first. You got this coach's last chance. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you don't do
which is crazy because 2 out of his 3 seasons as a head coach, he's made the playoffs.
Which that's gonna You know, like they talked about that on TTNL, where it's like a lot of people don't believe they're on a short leash.
No,
You know what I mean?
false currency. Little false currency.
Yeah. They're not on a, and that could be true. Me, if I was running an organization, this would be do or die year. But you know, that might not be the reality because it's politics in the game. You know,
Year before last, he was the coach of the NFL Coach of the Year.
12-4. Yes, he was.
That's resume boosters where you get those extra chances because of that. You know,
And again, remember, if we go back to the logs, Mike Glennon actually was the Bears starting quarterback prior to Mitch Trubisky. So it took for Mike Glennon to really like be subpar. I'm not even gonna say mess up, just be subpar.
Yeah.
For Mitch to supplant him. So then when they brought in Foles really just did the same thing Trubisky did to Glennon. It's like a bad carousel.
I see the comparison a little bit, but Glennon was the guy out of nowhere. They decided, hey, we're gonna get this guy millions of bucks.
No, he wasn't out of nowhere. He was not out of nowhere because
we came from Tampa.
Tampa Bay was openly admitted to say that we will make you the highest paid backup. He felt, I don't want the money. I want the opportunity to start. I can't blame, CK, I can't blame that man for wanting that chance.
Yeah.
But that's
he
fair.
just wasn't I'm not even going to say very good. He wasn't what they thought he could be.
Well, let me ask you this, because I remember him feeling like he said he felt some type of way.
He turned down Tampa Bay's initial offer.
So the Bears give him this money so he can compete for this job.
No, not compete. He was given
and then they draft Trubisky with the number 2 overall pick. What kind of confidence booster is that? Like, you don't draft the quarterback number 2 if you don't play and this guy's starting.
Hey, JR, you and me talked football a long time. If you tell me right now, come be your quarterback, right? And I'm like, man, I'm about to be JR's quarterback. And you say,
that's true.
But I got this young whippersnapper on your heels. Hey, man, I'm not coming to quarterback for you, man.
But I see the thing. But
I know my leash is short.
Hold on. I never saw the Mitch Trubisky thing coming. Once they had Glennon, I was like, hey, I didn't see the Fields thing coming. Once they signed Dalton, I was like, okay, they're doing the long haul.
But you kind of, so let me rephrase. You kind of saw the Fields thing coming let me explain.
Okay.
The interest in Deshaun Watson, if that became available. The so-called phantom trade that really never manifested for Russell Wilson. So you kind of knew they were looking, but that little birdie in their ear was like, yeah, let's get Andy Dalton. That's the best of what's left. But then as they're looking at the draft, it's like, hold on, this dude keep falling? You'd be a damn fool if you don't pick him up. So a lot of that is PR and job-saving measures as opposed to just being in love with a certain player here or there.
Okay. You mentioned rocking a hard place because if the fans are the only ones who can really put pressure on the owners and maybe some GMs to make some decisions, because more and more now that's become that's a factor you have to really take into consideration.
That is amazing.
If the fans are unhappy with you, they can really call for your job, and it's kind of like, hey,
can I break in here real quick? I want to break in. CK, I don't know how much time we have with you, but do you want to plug anything before you run?
Yeah, no, please. I hope you stay, but go ahead.
I actually have to head out in a little bit here, but TTNL, they got shows every Wednesday in lieu of you guys too, man. I want to shout you guys out. You guys are doing your thing. I appreciate Edith Yoakley. She's got some dope stuff, man. That's
dope.
Hey, I got it. I already.
And that could be a collab for you, CK.
Yeah, no, I was already thinking about. I'm already on the tour dates and everything.
Yes,
right. That's a nice thing for the end of the summer, So,
hey, that August 30th day, dude. Hey, that's a Monday, I believe, right?
Yeah. I might have to go out there with you guys. I'll bring my family out there if you guys are gonna be out there.
Hey, we'll politic offline and link that up if we can. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just we're gonna have a tape coming out. We're gonna make it official. We'll announce on Facebook for Tape Never Lies. Me and Phil, we're gonna be doing this DDP. We got a little collab session going on, and eventually we're gonna be coming together for the Bears and Packers game in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna be having an event out there. We might do a performance. I don't want to promise it, but that might be coming. And yeah, just keep checking me out on YouTube. Beats, if you need beats, inquire about them. Email me, and I got my Instagram on the bottom by my name. So thank
My
you
man.
guys.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
CK, man, much love, man. I hope we talk offline real soon, man. I really
Absolutely.
want to get into you about them beats and that production because, hey, that's what sells right now.
Right, definitely. Let me know if you need some intro music or a little bump for the intro and outro.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
All
what's
right.
up.
All right.
Hey, respect, my dude.
No doubt. Peace out.
All right,
All right.
homie. Cool Kennedy. That's
Cool. Yeah,
that's
that's a
a cool
cool,
dude.
cool cat.
Yes,
Real
sir.
low key. Hey, he's super low key. Like, dude, I whoop your ass, man. I mean, what's up?
Hey,
He's
man.
real low key like that.
The
No, but
coolest.
just knowledgeable about the craft though. Like guys like Tim, guys like Swiss. Just a real savant about his craft. That's what I like. And then the energy and the education, the intelligence about what he's doing, man. Cool Kennedy, one of them guys, man. I respect that he wants to work local. He wants
Oh,
to
that's
help the
dope.
crib.
That's dope.
He wants to help the crib.
Yeah, man. So that's awesome. So definitely, everybody in the chat, if you don't follow Cool Kennedy, make sure you do. And if you're not watching the Tape Never Lies, which most people in the chat are from the Tape Never Lies, but
We love TTNL.
if you have not watched it, go watch, check it out. It's on Wednesdays. I forgot what time on Wednesday, but I know it's on Wednesday night.
What's up with the pooch?
But she getting on my nerves, man. So I had to let her. Maybe she wanted to see everybody or something. I
What's her
don't know.
name?
Macy,
Macy.
like the store, Macy.
Okay, what's up, Macy?
I was gonna say like Macy Gray, but whatever.
Okay.
Well, that too. 7:30 Central. Thanks, Alex.
What's
Yeah,
on what's on your
Okay,
what's on your
hey,
finger?
Alex, thank you, appreciate it.
appreciate you, bro. All right, Macy, you got to go. Go sit down, okay?
So for those of us that don't know, we do tune in on Wednesdays to the Tape Never Lies. They got
Hey,
lot of great content, great people. Phil, Shane, Alex. Check out TTNL. Real talk.
Definitely.
Real talk. We do.